All right, it's Saturday, and this is an update on the zero DTE trade experiment that I've been doing for the last couple of months. So just to give you a quick background for what this is, 2 months ago, starting on December 6th, I set off on this zero DTE experiment. So I've never really traded zero DTE seriously. A few years back, I tried it, and it was just too stressful for me. My main bread and butter trades are longer term, like 30 to 60 days, or even like week-long trades that I do. But late last year, a lot of the members in my group began to talk more and more about zero DTE trades. And so I thought, maybe for a cool project I could do for my YouTube channel would be just to take a zero DTE strategy and just play it for a month, trade it every single day, and record the entire trading session, and then just post it to YouTube and just see what happens at the end of the month. So that's what I did, starting on December 6th. You see my Excel sheet here. Starting on December 6th, I started this project where I just recorded. I took one zero DTE strategy, played it exactly by the rules, approached it as a experiment, like a documentation experiment of this zero DTE strategy, how it performed, and what it was like to trade it real time, and just document the whole thing on YouTube. And the idea behind it was to just risk like up to $500 of my own money to get it going. And if it was profitable and it looked like it was working, I would start to scale it up. But at first I would take my money off the table. So I would take my original $500 off the table and just play with house money, basically stock market money. So moving forward from that point, there would be no personal risk. There's no risk to my own money. It's all stock market money. And then just start to scale it up from there and continue to just document the whole thing, record each trading session, and post it onto YouTube every day. So that's what we did starting December 6th. And here's the Excel sheet for it. You can see starting right here, December 6th. This is the profit column. So this is the wins right here. This is the loss column. This is the total that was at risk for each trade. And this is the time in trade. And maybe I'll take this document and put it on like a Google Sheets online so you can just access it yourself and look at it, like dive in and look at all these numbers. But this is the time and trade column. And then these are just kind of notes. So anyway, this strategy, the zero DTE strategy, started off, we won the first one. And then the second trade we had a loss. And so the profit target on these are $50 per contract. And the stop loss is 2 times our profit target. So our profit target was $50. That means that once the trade hits about $100 in loss, 2 times the profit target, that's where we exit. So you can see here, here's the results as we're going through December. We had this loss here. These losses I've just put in orange here so that they stand out here so we can see them. And as we came down through the end of the month, this was originally going to be just a 1 month trade, but this thing was performing so well after 1 month. Frankly, I just thought, maybe there was something wrong. Maybe maybe it was because of the December month, the Christmas trading season. Maybe that kind of played into it and kind of threw it off. I just couldn't believe the results that I was getting on this thing. So at the 1 month mark, January 6th-ish, right in here, I decided to go ahead and run, just to do another month of it, just to see if it really held up, because it was just performing so well up to that point. So I continued through January, and it did continue to hold up. Like, look at this win streak here. This is crazy. So then I finally did get to the point where I took my my own personal money off the table, just went forward playing with house money. So at that point, it didn't really matter to me. And part of this whole process was I really wanted to keep, I wanted to be in a position where I really didn't care one way or the other. It was just as an experiment. I had no real dog in the race, especially since I was at that point playing with my personal money was off the table. It was all money that was made from the trade, all, like house money. So we went into the second month of the strategy. It continued to perform really well. And at this point is when we started to scale up. So we finally reached the amount of accumulated profit where I could scale up to 2 contracts. So here we scaled up to 2 contracts, and you can see our profit now is more. These are $100 wins. And then I reached the amount of overall profit where I could scale up to 3 contracts. And I continued to that. And then I went up to 4 contracts. We scaled up to 5 contracts. You can see we're scaling up really fast now. Scaled up to 6, scaled up to 7 contracts right here. Then we won again. You can see that now we're, for each win, we're making $300 per trade. Scaled up to 7 contracts here. This is February 1st, so just a few days ago. And we're almost into a full 2 months into this project at this point. And you can see here, this is $350 per trade. So we're just really scaling up really fast. And then let's just cut it off here for right now. So at this point, let's just see where we were at overall. Again, we started with $420. That's what our starting amount was, our total risk on the first trade. So now at this point, we had made a total of $4,415 in profits. We had $880 in losses. And when we combine those together, or, calculate these together, we had a total profit of $3,535. And that's just after just a little less than 2 months into this experiment. So if we figure out the return on that, let's just take the total amount that we made, 3,535. So that's the total wins minus the losses, $3,535 in profit. And let's just divide that by our original capital, or the original risk that we had at the very beginning of the project, which was $420 bucks. So at this point, this is a return of 841% in just less than 2 months, which again I think it's amazing. That's fantastic. So that's where we stood on February 1st. So the next trade, I scaled up to 8 contracts. And at that point, I had my first real losing trade. So the stop loss on these trades are 2 times the profit target. So if we had just one contract on, like back here, you can see that we are looking for a profit of 50 bucks. And once we hit 50 bucks, we get out of the trade. Or if we have a loss, it gets up to about 2 times profit target. So that would be $100. 2 times 50 is 100 with just one contract. So that's where we get out there. And you can see throughout this whole first month that we really just had very small losses. Even here, when we're doing 3 contracts, this was a time stop. We got at 135 bucks. So that's very small. So this here on this date, on February 2, this is our first real big significant loss amount. And again, it's not out of line because at this point I'm looking to make $400 per trade because we've scaled up that amount. So I'm expecting to win 400 bucks, and just following the same rules, 400 bucks times 2, the stop loss would be 800. So this is totally in line with where we're at in this scale process, but it's just sort of kind of like a big, kind of a jarring number to see all of a sudden 840 bucks. It was kind of shocking to see because again, we didn't have losses. All of our losses have been really super small. And meanwhile, we're scaling up. So our wins are getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Our losses stay small until we finally hit our real first rule set here, which was 840. So we took that loss. Again, we were looking to make 400 on this one. And instead we lost 840, just about 2 times the profit target. So at the point I scaled back down, following the rules, the scale rules, we went back down to 6 contracts, and I immediately had another full stop loss. This should have been minus 600 bucks because we were looking to make 300 there. So our stop loss would have been twice the profit target with 300. So 300 times 2 is 600, but I overshot that and we wound up with 690. And then I got another signal immediately after that one. So we went in again, and we were in there for about 30 minutes. And you can see all these videos. These are all documented on my YouTube channel. You can just go back and see each one of these trades, the full session recorded. You can see exactly how the whole thing played out. So we took another small loss here, a time stop loss of 60 bucks. I decided to get out. So now this is where we stand now, just less than 2 months in this experiment. And so now we have a total of $4,415 in wins, minus 2,470, and when we calculate together, we have a total profit of 1,945. So you can see these last 2 full stops here really significantly decreased this number. But if we take a look at the total return that we made in just less than 2 months, we'll say 1945. That's the total profits divided by the original money that was at risk, 420, equals 463%, which is still, I think, just phenomenal. That's amazing. 463% return in less than 2 months, spending about 1 hour a day, and with none of my personal money at risk any longer. This is all, we're playing with house money at this point. So my personal risk is 0. So that's amazing. That's phenomenal. But still, when we have these kind of losses, and especially back to back to back, especially these larger amounts, because we've scaled up and our profit targets are bigger. But when we have 3 losses or 2 losses like this in a row, it's pretty much the full stop amount. It is kind of jarring. and kind of mess with your brain a little bit. And so what I want to do with this video is kind of just do a recap of where we're at after about 2 months of doing this experiment of trading this strategy. You know, see where we're at overall, and also with these back-to-back losses here. I think it's a great time to kind of just talk about the mental part of this. And there's a lot of power, I think, in just getting up, stopping everything, and just kind of walking away for a minute and, you know, getting your mind off it. Even when you're day trading, like when I'm trading my day trading strategy, if I'm just sitting there in front of the monitor all day trading that thing, I never really get up and walk around, I can get into some really not good habits or actions where you start to, even without realizing, you start to like want to revenge trade, and you just sort of lose like a fresh perspective. And there's a lot of power in just, you know, getting up, going down, making a cup of coffee, just kind of walking away and spending like 5 to 10 minutes away from everything, or an hour, or even days, weeks if you need it. Like that's what I'm doing with this trade. I'm just going to stop trading it for a couple days, just kind of back away, not think about it, clear my head, and take a fresh look in a few days. And I don't know if I'll start on Monday again. I need to decide if I want to continue this project, and I think I probably will because the results are phenomenal. But again, I don't want to just like start to endorse this thing, especially now with this sort of a back-to-back loss here. So I want to test it, I think, for like another month and just see how it pans out before I really decide whether this is something I want to pursue long-term and show others how to do it. But some other things you can do too, like even if you're in, like, not just for this situation, for any type of a trading situation, when you reach a point where you're hitting a couple losses, some other things that I've learned that were really super helpful are you can just stop for a few days or a week or just however long you need to clear your head and just get a fresh start on the whole thing. So you can just stop trading, walk away, stop, and take a break, and then you can go back into it. Or another thing you can do, or you can do a combination of these, but another thing you can do is just go to paper trading at that point. Like if you're losing your confidence and you're just thinking, wait a second, is there something wrong? Before you change all the rules and everything, or completely just throw this strategy out the window, you can just go to paper trading. You can stop trading with real money, go to paper trading and start to trade it, and then confirm that that was just sort of a fluky, weird little losing streak there. And once you have a couple more wins under your belt, then you can go back into where you left off at whatever size. Or another thing we could do, just to like kind of like put the brakes on this from totally just destroying all your account if the strategy is not quite working right, is you can either just paper trade, like I said, or you could just go back to one contract for a few trades and see if it comes back and it starts winning consistently like it did all through this part. So these are all super helpful things that I've found in these type of situations that can be helpful. Again, what they are is you can just totally take a break, stop, walk away for as long as you need, and don't mess with it, and then you come back in and get a fresh perspective, a fresh start. Or you can go to paper trading at this point. You can just stop trading real money, go to paper trading, and get a few of those winning trades back under your belt, help rebuild your confidence. Then you can go back in where you left off with real money, or you can just scale back all the way to, like, for example, here we're trading 6 contracts. We can just go back to 1 contract just for a couple of trades, for a couple of cycles, just to get your confidence back and make sure that the strategy is working again. And then if everything looks good and back on track, then you can just start back up where you left off, or you can just start at 1 again. You can start back at 1 contract and then go to 2 and start to rescale at that point. So those are just a couple of things that I've learned over the years to help in this type of a situation where you experience back-to-back losses. So hopefully that's helpful out there to anyone else you're going to hit these types of situations regardless what type of trading you're doing. And as far as this project, what I'm going to be doing, my plan is to maybe just kind of play it by ear, maybe take another couple days off. I do want to trade this for another month though, just to just kind of validate it. So hopefully that's helpful. And if you'd like to follow along with me on this and just see how it all turns out going forward, just make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel below. Just hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to join me on my website. I'll leave a link to my website in the description below. Just go over there, sign up for my free email newsletter, and you'll get a welcome email back from me. Just reply back to that welcome email, and I'll get back to you and we'll go from there. All right, that's it for this one. Hope it's helpful. Talk to you later.